Charlie, I meet some girl and she did be, but she do something where it puts me off. Yeah, seriously, like somebody I just meet you like 2 weeks ago. You say your mommy is sick, make her give you some 1,000 Ghana cedis, make you take sort some things out. Really? I'm sure if you're male in some cycles, right? You might have heard about these complaints in recent times. A lot of guys make. Is it that our women are changing or something that has been there all this while? Is it wrong for a woman to ask a man for money? Is it? Truly, is it? How do we take it as men when you meet somebody and you fall in love with the person, or you're trying to build up a relationship with the person? The next thing that puts you off about the person is when she calls you or she texts you and then she wants some money to take care of something. How do you feel about it? Do you want to follow this conversation? Stick and stay. I'm the Question Mind Surgeon. I'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the Question Mind Surgeon. We're talking about something very interesting. And anytime you find yourself in boy cycles and we're talking and doing our little gossips about girls, one of the things that's come up has to do with, of late, the ladies have become money conscious. And what's causing it? But before that, I'd like to ask the question, is it wrong for a lady to ask you for money? Is it? Then again, you go like, it depends on the kind of relationship you have with the person. Why? And that's good. That's true. But one of the things I have come to know, I mean, in certain cycles where boys talk about girls, and you find somebody saying that I met somebody recently and the lady's really pretty, beautiful, has a good character, but something just happened and put him off. It has to do with she's money conscious, money centric. Everybody loves money in life, for me. But it becomes a problem when a guy is billed beyond his capacity. And even if he can afford, it gets a bit problematic when the guy begins to feel that you're taking advantage of him. Okay? Then it goes like, if your dad can afford what you're asking of, I'm doing my best to make you comfortable, at least with the little I have, I share with you. But you're taking advantage, and every time you're asking me for money, for your upkeep, for your fashion sense, for feeding, for your rent and all of that. I mean, boys are paying lots of money for all sorts of reasons, right? And if you're supposed to organize a survey, you realize that guys would naturally give, not because of anything or not because they like you, but because it gives them a certain level of access to something we would know. You know what I'm talking about, right? Great. But the truth is that it's not always the case. Because let me bust your mind. Let me stretch your mind about a conversation I had with a friend of mine. Okay. I recently got to know that one of the things that excites him about women, that he would love to naturally give a helping hand financially. And this is not to say that women always need financial help. No, it's both ways. But this video seeks to address something very specific. Okay, so don't misquote me anywhere, because if you do that, I'll come after you intellectually. So one of the things that he said was he gets really impressed and attracted towards a woman whose conversation is always about she trying to have a vision to do something when it comes to multiplying money or taking up a business project or doing something that's trying to solve a problem. He would gladly want to support that person without thinking about asking for sexual favors. Yes, because he loves to see women develop, and so he would naturally and willingly give out his money to any woman who comes his way and is seen to be serious and focused in life, just like any other man would naturally ask for financial help from a friend when he identifies a business he wants to go into. That excites him about a woman. To a large extent, it's admirable to hear that, because, I mean, you look at it. If you have the money and the lady asks you, why would you not want to give the person money, especially if the person is somebody close to you, I mean, a loved one, or you're dating that person. But usually when you have such conversations, right, one of the things you would hear from our female counterparts, especially when it comes to these conversations about why they would ask a guy for money or financial assistance during dating or the first phase of a relationship, is that I'm also giving him something. Yes. So I have every right to also ask him for money because I'm giving him sex. So there's nothing wrong if I ask him for money. This is the point I'm trying to make. When you have that mindset, there's a problem with it. Because what you're doing is no different from the person who is walking on the street almost half naked and trying to engage herself in the oldest profession of all time, prostitution. And I'll say it as it is and blunt. The only difference here is that you are delaying it, but at the back of your mind, you are giving in sex because it also gives you a trump card, or it gives you access to ask for financial assistance. That should not be your mindset. The reason why I'm saying this is that if that is the mindset from the beginning, that's the motive from the beginning, then you are engaged in trading yourself with money. Let's think about it this way. Money is a commodity that can be gotten through exchange from anywhere. I mean, any guy can work anywhere to get money. But if you're trading money with sex, sex is not just about penetration. It goes beyond that. There's a lot of things involved because in the end, as a female who is very emotional, would get yourself wrapped around this whole thing when it doesn't end well. And it comes with regrets, it comes with depression, it comes with all sorts of things because you have invested yourself into that relationship sexually. Because money comes and goes, but the whole thought of I shared this part of myself with this man, and in the end, we did not get to marry ourselves, comes to play and gets you depressed. So this is what I think women should do. I mean, if you're a young person, seeks to get married, and you need financial assistance from any other person, especially the opposite sex, it shouldn't always be an exchange for sex. You should not always have the mentality, you should not even have the mentality of or mindset that I need to give sex to this guy because he is financially assisting me. That is wrong. That is a wrong mindset. Because when you do that, you are opening up the doors for the male or the guy to see you as a commodity. Then the respect he has for you lowers, because then if you're asking me money because you're thinking or your bargaining chip is that you're giving in sex, then you have converted your entire being as a commodity. I don't know if you get this. Then again, I'll say this. Why don't you give in to sex? Because you also want to have sex. And I know the morally high standard people who would watch this will go like, Dale, I'm disappointed in you. So you're encouraging sex before marriage. You don't know what you're talking about. With all the sermons that have been preached around in church every week, day in, day out, about fornication and sex, do you know the statistics? There's something wrong. Let's have this conversation another time. I just issued a disclaimer because it's not about moral complex. Whether you like it or not, this thing is happening. And the better we address it heads on, the good for all of us, because it has to be talked about. And the earlier, the better. Okay? So the mindset I would want you to have as a female, right, is that if you really want to have sex with your partner, it's not because the person gives you money. It's because you also want to have sex with the person. In that way, it gives the male a different pattern or way of thinking that, oh, okay, she's not having sex with me because she wants my money, but because she also wants to have sex. And let me tell you this, usually the male mind will think, is she trying to use me? Yes, because you're giving sex for sex, not sex for money, because he can always get money and purchase it. But if you're giving in sex for sex, then he begins to see you as him. Oh, wow. So you're giving in for sex because you're attracted to me and you also want to have sex. And it will shock you to know that a lot of guys from the beginning may be uncomfortable with such women. And some guys would naturally love such women because it's not really about the man. In that way, anytime you need financial assistance, The meal would help you from a place of a higher perspective about who your personality is and would love to help you, just as you would naturally give to a friend who's of the same sex. And so, whenever you're tempted to think that you need to give in sex as a female because you're getting financial assistance from a male, you have to rethink and renew your mind about it. Because if you are thinking that way, then you are engaged in trading sex, and that is clearly prostitution. Whether you like it or not, you can give it a different name. It's prostitution. I'll give you time to think about this. We'll meet again. Let me stop here, right? Subscribe, comment, like, and share. What do you think? Is it all right for a lady to ask for sex because she's getting financial assistance? And what is being exchanged here? I'd like to read in the comment section from you what you think. Take care. I'm the Question Mind Surgeon, and let your mind do the conversations. I'm out.